Hi Aquarius, this is Raina. This video is for Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is occurring from November 8th, 2018 until December 2nd, 2019, and how it affects your sign. And you know, it's funny because as I was saying that, I was looking at the house that it's going to be in, and it's actually the house that you rule. So that is significant in and of itself. You rule the 11th house, which is the house of the collective. And it's also the house of hopes and wishes and things like that. So this is very fortunate for you to have Jupiter going through the house that you rule. The 11th house is actually considered the luckiest house. And I was looking for more information about that. I found it by happenstance, actually. And it is described as the second house from the 10th house. So if you're looking at the 10th house of career, the next one over, which is the second house, is the 11th house. And the connection with second house matters, means money and that kind of thing. So the second house is ruled by Venus, so that kind of influence affecting the 11th house. Venus and Jupiter in Vedic astrology are considered benefic planets. So in and of themselves, they generate luck and fortunate circumstances arising and prosperity. Another thing I saw when I was reading up on the 11th house is kind of distinguishing it from the 10th house. The 10th house, which is ruled by Saturn and its sign Capricorn. Well, your sign is also ruled by Saturn, but we really associate Capricorn. We really connect Capricorn with Saturn in terms of how it presents itself. And that is all about career, ambition, getting ahead, you know, your reputation in the world. So the 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes and long-range goals. But I thought to myself, well, isn't that kind of redundant? And in researching this, I found out that it was kind of like distinguished from the 10th house by saying that it's not about competition, this house. And I would add that it's not about ambition. It's about just your pure desires. So if you think about the opposite house of the 11th house, we're talking about the 5th house, which is ruled by your opposite sign, Leo. And it's all about creative self-expression. This is about creating something for yourself, your life, as it connects to others. You know, they say no man is an island. So, you know, you're not just living in this little isolated, nirvana-esque type of environment. You're connecting with others in one way or the other, I should say. You know, this is an important time to really explore about, you know, the paradoxical nature of Aquarius, because you have these two ruling planets, one being Uranus, which is about maybe sudden breakthroughs, but also sudden endings, you know, erratic activity, excitement because of this, unpredictability, and innovation, and just refusing to conform to any kind of a paradigm, just being completely nonconformist. And then you have Saturn, which is all about tradition, what has come before, and that kind of discipline and organization, which relies upon being predictable and doing the same thing over and over again. And both have their place. You have to, in order to accomplish things, you can't be sporadic. You do have to apply yourself consistently. But by the same token, if you can never change, if you stay kind of in this rut, then, you know, your work is not inspired, and it tends to be just kind of like derivative. It's not original. Uranus is all about wanting to be original. So you are contradictory within yourself. And this is one of the reasons why people find it very hard for Aquarian to understand where Aquarians are coming from. There's like an eccentric quality in even the most conforming mainstream Aquarians. But the 11th house is a place to find your tribe, you know, and this gives you real ample opportunity to do just that, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So Jupiter is all about giving people more opportunities, widening your net, opening up your mind. You already have an open mind, so this can really increase that and increase the scope of your interactions. You know, you may be exposed to new groups of people that you've never done before, and had the experience or the opportunity for before. And there's also the possibility with Jupiter of travel, long distance travel, that will afford you the ability to come in contact with, you know, completely new groups of people. So it's like an anthropologist. And who knows, there might be an overrepresentation of, I don't know why I can't talk this morning, anthropologists who are born under the sign of Aquarius. So it definitely there can be a connection there. And that can be very exciting if you're in any kind of field that relates to that, where you deal with different populations, or even like, let's say you're a social worker and you want to get some training in a foreign country to do your, you know, your residency or whatever they call that. When you're training for it, and you have to put in a certain amount of hours, your clinical hours. Maybe you even elect to do it in a different country to get a handle on how other people live, you know? It's very exciting. So this can be you realizing some of your long-held desires. And again, this does not have to be career-related, although it can be, because you may widen your net when it comes to social networking or career networking. And this can help you if you work in a corporate environment. This can be like absolutely valuable. But in any kind, even if you have your own business, the more connections you make, the more potential clients you have, right? So it's all good. It could even be you traveling to promote to make those networks, to network. And this can be taking your own talents and, you know, exposing them to a wider audience. Actually, the 11th house is associated with the internet, and this is due to the collective plus technology. I've also heard the 3rd house when it comes to the internet, but that's about communication itself. This is kind of like the specific technology that we use in this age in order to connect. And you could make great use of it. You might have a lot of luck by starting some kind of online endeavor, whether it be YouTube, whether it be a blog, all of the above, an online store. Because you rule this house and you're an air sign, this is about ideas and thought power. So this is a great time to collaborate with others. And also, you know, getting back to finding your tribe. I mean, not only could you find your tribe, but you could be planning for something that involves the collective in a very positive way, like perhaps an eco-village or some kind of organization that helps people in a massive way. And you have this kind of like, you know, strength in numbers of like-minded people. So it is like about like-minded people coming together. With Jupiter, it's like there could be a lot of them. Maybe you have found that it has been hard to find people who are like you. And this actually increases it many-fold, because Jupiter is a planet of luck and expansion. So these things can come about seemingly out of nowhere, these opportunities. And this is another thing, surprise blessings, you know, things that you never in your wildest imagination just seem to come about. I was going to say drop in your lap, but the even though you rule the 11th house, in terms of your personal chart, it's forms a sextile to either your sun or your ascendant. And so that is a friendly angle, but you still have to exert some effort in order to make it happen. I said in a prior video that I believe you always have to exert effort. You can't be too passive about predictions and think that they're just going to happen out of nowhere. You have to, you know, show up for life. And I think that you do. I think that you guys do. And yeah, this is really exciting. And this is going to be for almost 13 months, starting on November 8th. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. And if you'd like me to look at your chart, because especially if you're the sun in Aquarius, your 11th house in your natal chart could be anywhere. And it might not be, it's not going to necessarily be in that 11th. I mean, this Jupiter transit isn't going to be in that particular house necessarily. And even your rising sign, they're all different degrees. So it depends on that as well. Okay, the link for my natal chart readings is below, and take care. Bye.